Alright, so the video didn't video the first time, which is nice, but we are going to do this case study that I've already filled out. We're just going to refill it out, okay? So we have our instructions here, and we're going to go down here to our assumptions table, okay? So I guess we'll just get rid of all this, truthfully. As disappointing as that is, we're gonna have to get rid of it. So delete, and that's gone, goodbye, and so is this. This is all gone, it all goes away. Alright, now we're back to a clean slate. So first thing you have to do when you build any economic model is you have to make some assumptions, right? And there's going to be a couple things that I'm doing as I build this model out. And one of the things you'll see me doing a lot is I'm going to be autofilling by pressing Shift and then using the arrow keys to move around my screen. And when I get to where I want to autofill either up or down, I will press Control R to autofill to the right, and I will press Control D to autofill down. So you'll see me doing that quite a lot as I do as I build this kind of little model here. But enough chit chat. We're gonna build this model again. So our first kind of assumption here about our cash flow analysis is that we are going to be making some investments, right? We have to spend, it looks like, about $450 million on equipment and $380 million on engineering. So that's going to go right here. So make sure that you do this in the right units. Something I noticed is that in this model, all of the other units are in single units, so we have to make sure that we type out 450 million. So I'm pretty sure it's 450 million, and this is going to be 380 million. So very nice. And now what we need to do is we have to put out our timing, which we have our timing right here, which is basically just how much we're going to be spending each year. So we're going to spend, it looks like it's going to be 15% the first year, and 20% the second year, 20% the third year, and 25% the fourth year. Now notice, this is something I ran into last time. This equals 80%, which means what? Well, it means that we probably have to spend 20% in the final year. Now, I'm not sure why that's not disclosed. Maybe we spread that out over a much longer period of time, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense. It just doesn't. So we're going to assume that we pay out a lot more in the fifth year. Now I want to make sure that all of my whatever. So we want those to be percents. But I did also want those to have that border under them. But obviously, apparently we can't have nice things. So whatever. So that's our timing though. And so we are going to make the assumption of basically how many cars are we going to sell. Well, it tells us somewhere up here, or maybe down here, 380, assume the product is launched the year after the end of the development cycle. So we're going to be starting in year 5 with our cash inflows. And we're going to be selling 125,000 units per year. All right. Now, but remember, this is our development cycle, which means we are selling 0 units during this time. So this number needs to be moved over to year 5. And the fact that this is off now is really going to frustrate me. So I need to put my borders back. So we're going to go Control-Alt-V-T to copy our formats, and then we're just going to go Alt-HN and change these numbers to percentages. Obviously, we want those numbers to be, look like our other numbers here. So hang on one second. Control-Alt-V-T again, and now it looks all good. But we're going to be selling 125,000 cars every year for all of these years. Very nice. And notice that this is going to be 0. Cool. So we have that done. Now we need to figure out what is going on with these cars. Well, again, we are selling no cars during this period of time. And so what we're going to do to make this behave correctly is we're going to fill all of this up with zeros immediately. This does not matter. Well, at least these numbers do not matter. So our quantity stuff, it does not matter. So yeah, it just doesn't matter. So during these 4 years, we can keep our selling price the same, but we do not want these numbers to be changing and these numbers to be changing. So I could have just copy and pasted all this, but I guess I was just going to fill it out. But yeah, very nice. And we know, okay, let's go back. And we're going to do all of this again for the luxury car section. So notice that I've left selling price blank. We're going to fill that out. Material cost blank. We're going to fill that out. And you know what? No, we're not. Get rid of all that. Forget I said it. Make this all one thing. All right? Make it all one thing. Okay, this is all 0. We don't care about it. This doesn't mean anything during this period of time. All right? But yeah, so hang on. Now see we're missing our order. Make it look nice. Fix that. Did not fix that. Shocking. I don't know why that's blank. Weird. Whatever. So, I guess I got a little bit ahead of myself here. So let's go to the next line. But we can make all this zeros. That's fine. So 2 different trims are planned for the product. 70% of total sales are selling at $29,000, and the other 30% are selling at what, $50,000. But again, remember, this area there is 0 cars being sold. So, but we want to know that 70% of cars are being sold. At least standard cars are being sold pretty consistently over this period of time. Similarly, the 30% of cars are being sold over this period of time. Great, right? We love it. But what number of cars are being sold? Well, we're going to figure that out going 125,000, which is the total number of cars that we're selling, times 70%. And we're just going to forecast that out, right? And similarly, we're going to do it with the 30%. And now that forecasts itself out. All right. Now our selling price is important. We should know that. The selling price is going to be $29,000 per year, and it is going to decrease every year. So we're not going to model that out. Similarly with the $49,000 per year. But how much are we decreasing it? Well, it doesn't tell us right away, but it does tell us in this line, note that we're in this line now, that the dealer gets a 10% discount every sale. So let's go ahead and fill that out. It's just going to be 0.1, and it stays 0.1 the whole time. So, and we'll just copy and paste that and bring that dealer discount here as well. And now we can talk about what the price is, right? So we see that the price is going to decrease by 2.5% every year. So it's going to be it's actually going to be 0 in the first year. It's going to be 0 in the first year. So it's going to be 0.025%, and we're just going to do it right here. So it's 0.025, and we're going to bring this over because it decreases that much every year, and then we're going to copy and paste it here. Okay, very nice. And so we know now that this price is going to be 2.5% lower than this price here. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply our previous year's price times 1 minus our 2.5%. And we're just going to forecast that over year, and that's going to give us our price every year. Very nice, right? And we're going to do the same thing with this. So it's going to be times 1 minus our 2.5%, and fill that over as well. Very nice. And great. So we have our prices every year, we have a lot of stuff, and now we have to discuss material costs, our variable costs. So we're given those. It's actually really easy. And it looks like, let's see, I think our material costs decrease year over year. Reduction in material, logistic, and manufacturing costs. Yep. So our material cost is going to decrease by 3.2% every year, along with these things. So cool. But remember that, and we're going to make, I don't know, I can't make it that. Make it 0. It's technically year over year. Forget about it. Leave it blank. Leave it blank. All right. So what is our material cost for the crappy cars? Well, it's going to be $17,000 per vehicle. Right? And we also know that it is going to decrease year over year at 3.2%, right? We see that right here. So let's go ahead and make it 0.032. And now we need to fill this over because this is hard coded. And we're going to now find our number, which is 1 minus this. And we just autofill that over. Again, remember using Control R to autofill. And so now we have all of our costs. We're going to do the same thing here, where we find out our material cost is $22,000, and it's going to be decreasing by this much. So let's just pull this down here, and we're actually going to put it somewhere else as well. We're just drop it right here, and we want to drop it right here as well, because we're going to be using this later on. Note that we are missing those stupid borders. I think. There we go, very nice. And then we want to bring it over this way as well. Get our borders back. I'll warm up. Borders back. Yep, I said it. Whatever the case. So we have our borders fixed now. Our cells look a little prettier. Obviously, we have all this mess here on the borders, but we'll fix that at the very end. Back to what we were doing. We have to decrease our materials cost. So we know how to do this. We multiply it by 1 minus the rate that we are discounting it, and that's going to be that. So great. Now we have a lot of stuff done. We're almost done with our assumptions table. And we now want to find out what our manufacturing cost per unit is, what our logistics and warranty costs are, and we have that right here. Really simple. So we find out that it's $1,800 per car, obviously decreasing at 3.2%, and our manufacturing cost is $5,500. And we now want to decrease both of these numbers by our 3.2%. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing we've been doing where we decrease. We're going to go 1 minus, but we're going to do something a little different here. Is we're going to F4, and we're going to F4. Yeah, we're going to do that F4 so the dollar sign is in the middle, and we can autofill down, and that is correct. And we can autofill right on over this way, and we get some beautiful numbers, and we don't have to do it twice, because who likes doing anything twice? Very nice. Okay, so now we want to find out what our marketing costs are. This does happen in year 1. You should note that. So we're going to spend $150 million in year 1. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the next year we're going to do, and there's an easier way to do this also. So here, I'll show you a little bit easier because it's way easier. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go 150. And we're going to go, what is it, 75 for years 2 to 4. So 75 there. And then we're going to have 100. And we're going to have 125 in year 6. Very nice. Cool, right? So now we're going to copy our 1 million that we typed right there. And we're just going to fill this over. And we're going to go Control-Alt-V-M. And that converts those numbers all to millions. And of course, we want those numbers to be nice and pretty with their dollar signs. So we're going to go Control-Alt-V-T and get those dollar signs. And now we can just get rid of this million because it's ugly. Great, right? So now we'll bring this over, Control-Alt-V-T again, and we get our... Never mind. And we want to control for that. So we're going to fix this really quick. Get rid of these borders. Control-Alt-V-T. Fix the borders. There we go. Very nice. Almost very nice. Almost. Control-Alt-V-T. now they're fixed. So we are good. And then this is all going to be 0 for the rest of time. So yeah, so now we can kind of go about building our income statement just our income statement, and find out what this is really going to do for the company. So the first thing that we're going to do is we have to find out our development costs via equipment and tooling costs. And this can be a little bit confusing, but I just want you to know that this number right here, nothing goes here, nothing goes here, nothing goes here. Yep, nothing goes here. So if you see like some blanks, because notice that development cost is here and there's total development costs, we're going to be filling in total development costs. But enough of that discussion. We are going to now basically find out, what are we paying in year 1 for our manufacturing equipment? Well, we know that we're paying, $450 million spread out over like 6 years, and we're paying 15% in the first year. Very nice. Now, something we want to do here is we want to make sure that we lock this top cell, because I did not forecast it out. So we want to lock our 450 million, and then we're free to just fill this over, and we get a number. Now let's see what our number is, just to double check, make sure our calculation is correct. So we're going to sum this, and just to do a quick sanity check, make sure our number matches. It does. Great. So we did that correctly. And now we're going to do the same thing with our $380 million engineering budget. So make sure you lock the cell, multiply it by your percent, and we have liftoff, right? So we have that, and again, that is, I don't like those numbers. So we're gonna have to fix that, because I don't like how those numbers look. So we're gonna copy formats, and then we're gonna go Alt HHN, and that fixes our numbers, makes them match up correctly. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna sum, because we want to find what these two costs combined are. So we're gonna go just equal sum, and we get our development costs. And notice we actually should be bringing this over. We need to be bringing all of this over at once. Okay, is what we need to be doing. So, but even though it's 0, it's fine. It just looks better that way. So now we want to know what our revenue is. So we have to do a couple things here. We just need to know, basically, well, I'll just show you. I guess I don't need to talk about it. We're going to go to our standard cars. Well, we know it's going to be 0, right? But we're going to go ahead and model that. So we're going to take number of cars times selling price of cars, right? Makes sense. But we're going to also make it be 1 minus the dealer discount, because we are looking to find the number after dealer discount, which is 0, and that's going to give us, 0, obviously. But if we forecast that out, watch, magic happen. We now have revenues farther out, so we only have to do that once. Now we'll do the same thing with luxury, where we're going to take our number of cars times our selling price of cars, and we're going to just forecast that out as well. Very nice. We have some lovely revenues coming through there, and I just want to double check the cells here and make sure that I am multiplying this correctly by the correct numbers. So, yep, number of cars, price of cars, looks very good. So that's great. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to come back over here to year 1. Where did I go? You might be wondering. I'm wondering the same thing. We're going to go sum, and sum these two lines together and bring that out. All right, so now we have our total revenue number. Very nice. But we have to figure out expenses. Well, what are our expenses? Well, all of our variable costs. So we need to know materials, and that's going to break down actually through standard luxury. So don't worry about these 2 lines, or really these 3 lines. They're going to remain blank. And we're going to go down to luxury cars, and we're going to find what our material cost is, which again is going to be 0 to begin with. But we know that it's going to be our material cost times our number of cars, which is this. And we're going to do the same thing with luxury. So we want to take our material cost and multiply that by number of cars. Very nice. And now I'm going to get a little bit ahead of myself, and we're just going to take, this is total cars. Now with the material costs and the Oh wait, no, we have to sum this first. So let's sum this. We're going to see the magic happen here. We're going to sum this and bring it over, and then we're just going to highlight these 3 cells and come on out here, and we're just going to press Control R. That's going to give us all of our wonderful numbers. Very nice. Okay, whatever. Who cares? Stupid anyways. But we need to find out what our logistics and warranty costs are, along with our manufacturing costs. Well, this is going to be out of total cars. We are no longer breaking up by we're no longer breaking up by luxury and standard. This is a blanket cost on all cars, but it's still a variable cost. So we're going to lock expected market share, and then we're going to multiply it by, well, actually, hang on. We just want to lock the row. So we're going to lock this one. We're going to have that $sign in the middle. And then we're going to multiply it by this number here, right? And we're all good. And then we're just going to fill this down, because we can do that if you make sure you locked that first cell. And then that should allow you to bring it over like so. Very nice. Now we want to see what our total variable costs are. Let's make sure this is decreasing here. Yep. All right, we're good. Just do a little sanity check. Make sure you sanity check yourself as you go. And our variable costs are going to be our total material costs, our logistics and warranty costs, and our manufacturing costs. So just these 3 things, even though we added up more. And that is going to be our total variable costs. Now, what are our fixed costs? Well, they kind of give us a hint here, and they say that it's marketing and advertising. So really easy. We're just going to reference our marketing and advertising expenses, which is this, right? So now we can just bring this all the way over, like so. And it's literally our marketing, our fixed costs, our total fixed costs are just going to be the cell above. So yeah, we can just bring this on over. And there we go. So now we need to know, what are our total expenses? Well, our total expenses are usually going to be fixed costs plus variable costs. But because we have these development costs, I'm going to assume them as well. So we're going to just add fixed costs plus variable costs plus development costs. Right? And we are now going to bring that over, and that's going to create a nice little number for us. And now we want to find basically what is our net income. Our net income is going to be our expenses, our revenues, minus our expenses, which is our total revenue line. So we're just going to subtract that from that. And let's see what happens. All right, very nice. So it looks like we are turning a pretty nice profit here once we hit the market. Very nice. Okay, but we have one more thing to do, and that is to, I hope I didn't get ahead of anybody there. You're welcome to slow the video down always, but we have one more thing to do. We have to find the net present value, and we have to decide whether this is a good project to take on or not. Well, we find out that our discount rate is 12%, so we're just going to put in 12%, right? And we just know that's going to be 0.12. Then all we have to do is use the NPV function, and we're going to use that as our rate and go comma, and then we're just going to include all of these cells over here. So we do that, and we have a very positive value, right? Positive. So we should take this. And also note that our IRR is higher than the discount rate, which if you wanted some extra credit, you would probably, the professor would probably like, but, hey, whatever. But yeah, so we see that our net present value is like $1 billion, which makes sense because if you notice, it might seem really big, but notice that like the actual revenue over that period of time is like, I don't know, close to $5 billion. So if it makes sense, especially with a high discount rate, that our net present value would be that number. So that's kind of how you build out this model. If you have any questions, let me know. And shoot me call or text if you need any help. But that's the gist. Thanks.